Hi friends. Today we will discuss about fundamental rights given by our Constitution. The fundamental rights is defined as the basic human rights of all citizens. These rights, defined in Part 3 of the Constitution, are guaranteed by the Constitution to all person without any discrimination. They are enforceable by the courts, subject to specific restrictions. The sanction behind these fundamental rights is for promoting the ideal of political democracy. The concept of fundamental rights first came into being in Magna Carta in England in 1215. Fundamental rights in Indian Constitution is inspired by the Bill of Rights. Fundamental rights included in the Constitution of the USA. This section of the Constitution is also called as Magna Carta of India. The fundamental rights operates as limitations on the tyranny of the executive and arbitrary laws of the legislature. Originally, the Constitution provided for 7 fundamental rights. However, the right to property was deleted by the 44th Amendment Act, 1978, and made it a legal right. Now we will discuss some important characteristics of fundamental rights. First feature is that some fundamental rights are available only to citizens. Article 15, 16, 19, 29 and 30. Second important feature is that fundamental rights are not absolute but qualified. Third feature is that reasonable restrictions can be imposed on fundamental rights. The reasonability of such restrictions is decided by the SC. Next important feature is that these rights strike a balance between the rights of the individual and those of the society as a whole, between individual liberty and social control. Most rights are available against the actions of the state, but some are available against the actions of the private individuals too. Next important feature is that some fundamental rights are negative in character while others are positive. Negative FRs entail limitations on the government, while positive FRs imposes an obligation on government to take measures. Next feature is that fundamental rights are justiciable in nature. Fundamental rights are defended and guaranteed by the Constitution. Hence, an aggrieved party can approach the Supreme Court for any violation directly rather than by the way of appeal. Next feature is that Parliament can amend the provisions of the fundamental rights by the way of a constitutional amendment act so long as they do not violate the basic structure of the Indian Constitution. Next feature is that fundamental rights can be suspended during the operation of a national emergency except the rights guaranteed by Article 20 and 21. Additionally, FRs under Article 19 can be suspended only during the operation of emergency declared on the grounds of war or external aggression. The scope of fundamental rights is limited by Article 31A, 31B and 31C. Parliament can restrict or abrogate the application of fundamental right in the case of armed forces, paramilitary forces, police forces, intelligence agencies and analogous services. Fundamental right can be restricted while martial law is in force. Only Parliament can make a law for the enforcement of the fundamental rights.